It's time for the play spot, and I am Kamurai. Let's see if I do this right. I'm a YouTuber, game designer, programmer type person. I've got some other channels and stuff. Today we are here on Play Spot to talk about things I've been playing game-wise. So it's pretty much just Friday, Sunday, so I'll try to kind of go as much in order as I can remember properly. Friday, I don't know what's been happening with our game groups. I think it's just the holidays and people are traveling and doing stuff. And I think somebody had a birthday, so they were probably drunk or something. I don't know. But they didn't show up. So the very first thing I think on Friday was Forbidden Island. Now, I'm not a big fan of co-op games, not because I don't like cooperative games, because there's not too many of them that don't play themselves. And that's kind of the point of co-op games, like you against the machine. But when you have a machine, that typically means that the game is predetermined and you really are just kind of waiting around to figure out whether or not you lose, which is not the best thing in my opinion. I'd much rather have a board, play strategically, and do whatever and see whatever happens. I don't mind losing. If I can lose at a game and still have fun, like, it's a great game. I'll lose all day at Small World. Ticket Ride, even some good games I can lose at and still have a good time. Super Dungeon Explorer, I can definitely get behind losing at that, whether I'm the heroes or the console or both. If I'm just playing by myself, because I'm that's what I did that time. Oh man, excuse that. Let's see. So we played some Forbidden Island. I was like, man, okay, so we're gonna lose, because that's what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to lose. And we played on normal, and then it was three of us, and we got through pretty well. No alpha player syndrome, which was nice. We had third discussions, which isn't the best thing in the world, but I mean, like, we didn't have anybody like not be happy with everything going on. So we discussed options, and then a buddy of ours sat down and started giving input too. So at that point, like, even if he doesn't have a hand of cards, he's in the game. That's another thing with co-op games that can happen if you've got people with valid input around. So we actually managed to get the 4 artifacts to get off the island by the skin of our teeth, but we did it. So next time we go to play that, we definitely got to up the difficulty a little bit and get off of normal and see if the island kills us. See, after that, got to play with a couple of new players. Obviously, they play some games, but they didn't play like a whole lot. But we got to play Munchkin because they were curious about what that was, and they had a lot of fun. The girl we were playing with, like, picked it up really well, just like the general concept of it, of trying to dick over people and still be friendly and have a good time. So, like, rather quickly I had to, like, let go of anything. It's like, doesn't matter if you're just smiling sweetly, you're a bad person like anybody else who plays this game properly. But we all had a good time. No one really got upset about anything. And it's really funny because I think Thomas won, but he had to leave, so it was like, I think we agreed Thomas won, and so he left so we could clean up. But it was just kind of amusing that that's the way that went down. And then after that, let's see, what did we play? Oh yeah, I taught a friend how to play Pokemon, the CCG. I don't have any, like, great cards. I got mostly starter decks that I've mixed together and whatnot. From, like, oh my god, 8 years ago or something. So they're old cards. They're not very good. They're not, like, especially rare or anything. But they're decent decks. Like, they function. You can teach the mechanics on them. They're balanced pretty well. So unless you're going against the wrong type, because they're all monocolored, I need to mix them, honestly. They're okay. But that was fun to play that again because I think it's such an elegant CCG. But what ended up happening was she was playing grass and her Sceptile or whatever came out, and just anything I put out from my electric deck just got creamed because there's all little whiny baby monsters in there. So that didn't last very long, but it was plenty of fun. And I'm trying to remember Oh yeah, and then we broke out Risk Legacy, so we started a campaign for Risk Legacy, and it took a little bit of convincing because everyone's like, "Oh, Risk," which rightfully so. Risk is notably a horrible game, just like Monopoly. And what people have the biggest problem at Risk is it's just a lot of dice rolling. Like I like chucking some dice every now and again, but I've played Risk Legacy before in Atlanta, and it was a lot of fun. At least getting through the packs. My biggest problem, and the same problem I'm probably gonna have now, is just bad tactics, like threat assessment. Like look at what threats are. So when it's not me and it's picked and like I get beat up, it's like that feels like you're operating something other than what's on the board. So like it kind of feels personal. And in the first game, like Dan came over and I misplaced. I shouldn't have placed in Africa. And somebody else was in Europe. So the guy came west from Australia and took out both our bases and won that first game. Risk Legacy, one of the things that makes it different is it's very objective based. It's not a 3-hour slugfest for the map. It's you meet whatever the objective is, which is typically 4 stars. Your base counts as a star because you get a base to put down. And then you start with a star coin. And then so all you have to do in the first game is take 2 other people's bases. And if everyone's clustered together close enough, then it's not always that hard a thing to do. And I was just getting beat from 3 sides. Because everyone's jerks. That first game. And then the second game, I started in South America instead of Africa. And then I thought we had said it, but like a new guy joined up the game on Sunday. I'll get there. I'll come back. No, I won't. I'll finish out. So we played again on Sunday as well. And then we had like Cali drop, and then we had a new guy come in. But he deployed in Africa, so of course he was in the same situation I was in my game, and he pinned me in because I was gonna just build up and go north into North America. So it is notable, like when you go, not only when you select your stuff, like where you deploy, what order you deploy in, which hopefully we'll get there for those who know what's up. But we're not there yet. We did get to open the first pack, which was when someone gets knocked out, because they made it just a game goal to eliminate me, which was kind of a dick thing, but whatever. But I got the power I wanted because the blue comeback powers are the first powers you can discover. And so that was really neat that like I actually got my stealthy, which is neat because you essentially like paradrop into another territory somewhere, and it's lovely. So I'm going to use that to my advantage. So hopefully I'll get a win this next game or two. And it'll take a couple games for them to catch on and put a stop in it. But I just need to get some kind of advantage somewhere, and it should be all right. I think it'll be fine. Let's see. So we'll probably play that again on Friday. Oh no, we might have to wait till Sunday because we were gonna play a game of Eclipse coming up, and that takes like the whole time, 6 hours, and I think I can get my turns to go pretty fast. Ken's decent, so if we can try to run the game a little quicker, then maybe we can speed up some of these slow ass motherfuckers. Because that's been the most frustrating thing lately. Is just the longer you take on your turn, the worse the game experience is. So please have the etiquette to be speedy about your turns. Because that was the last thing we did on Friday, I think, was we played Among the Stars. And that's a pretty quick-paced drafting game, very much like Seven Wonders. But if everyone stopped and reading the cards and going back and forth and wavering on strategies, then having to look at the ambassadors and stuff, then it slows the game down a lot. I think we took 2 hours because we started like just after 11. We ended just before, so an hour and a half, and it should be a half-hour game. The base set ran really quick. I think we played a game in like 20 minutes once out of the 5 or 6 games we played. The new stuff doesn't really add that much. It gives you a couple more options, but like if you have an idea of what you want to be doing through strategy for the game, and then it's hard to tell whether or not they win, or because they took the time and they're slower to do the better strategy, or everyone's just got bored and stopped caring. So I don't know. But a couple guys are kind of I've noticed a pattern with that. Like, take their time, they do whatever they need to do to look at the extra strategy that they need to look at, and they've got a pretty good winning record. But it kills the game. It kills the game when you take so long. And like, let's see. So continuing on with Sunday, and then we'll go back to Saturday. Like that, like we played Power Grid was another big game that we played after Risk Legacy, because we were talking about playing something quick. So what did we play? I feel like I'm just missing chunks of my life sometimes. No, I think we went right into Power Grid. I can't remember what else we would have played. Oh, we did try to play The Strain. I want to talk about that real quick. Then I'll come back to Power Grid. We sat down. We tried to learn The Strain. Horrible fucking game. I didn't like. We were walking through the rules. I sat down. They were going through the rules. They were doing play tests to figure out like what you do, and we kind of came up with a game like we thought it was, and that seemed really fun and interesting. But in that same way, like my strategy was like, well, let's not play viruses. Let's just play organisms and cytoplasm and build up to do things. And of course, I was going to try to get like a virus or two to try to affect other people's organisms, but oh my god, so like the game restricts you to playing one organism per turn and one cytoplasm per turn. Not even one cytoplasm per organism you control, but one cytoplasm. So you're literally, your options are really like, well, I guess I'll take one organism, or I'll take one cytoplasm, and then two viruses or petri dishes. And then if I have enough to run the petri dishes, I'll do that. It seems it just feels ridiculous, because the game's arbitrarily designed to be slowed down when it could be a much faster paced game. But it needs something to regulate it. I mean, I was looking forward to it being like a quick 10-minute game, just bam, 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 bam. But like we ended up breaking and not even playing the modified version we were talking about, because we pretty quickly found a way to break that even, and it's not a good game. I wish it was. It even seems kind of educational, but like I would say it's not a game I don't like. It seems like a badly designed game, and if somebody knows the game well and like wants to play it, I'll watch a game. I may find some gameplay footage of it later, but no, it's not a game I can support. I actually apologize to everybody. I'm like, I'm sorry somebody bought this. Who can I apologize to? But let's talk about a slightly better game, Power Grid. Power Grid is something I've heard about for years. I've seen people play it. It is a very interesting game. It looks like quite the adventure. What I've realized is that it's not necessarily that it's a slow game, or it's a long game, or it's an overly involved game. It's got some steps you got to keep track of. But the problem with Power Grid is that people take forever to do their math. And ideally, you can do your math ahead of time. You can set it aside. A little screen would actually be a very nice addition to Power Grid, because then you can like hide your groupings of coins and stuff behind there. Setting aside what groups of money that people are going to earn would be nice. Setting aside the number of resources to replenish in the following phase would be nice. There's a lot of things. Like, I think it'd be a wonderful game on the computer. Wonderful game. But it kills the mood when it takes that long, and you're like, okay, well, I already did all my stuff ahead of time. I execute, and now I have to wait for someone to start. So I will play again. I think now that I know how spatially the game works and how the deck of generators is, I think I understand the game a little bit better, and I might be able to play a little bit better. Like Lords of Waterdeep. I like Lords of Waterdeep because I got it. I got to play it a couple times on my iPad, and then like I played in real life. I was like, oh yeah, okay, this is so much better with people, and I understand the game. I get the mechanics on how to compete. Agricola is the opposite effect because I still am confused. I need to play another game of that, but it takes a decent amount of time even on the iPad. Eclipse is the same way, so that's why we're blocking off the whole evening to play Eclipse. As much as I love that game, and I'm actually really excited to play it. I don't know what race I want to play, honestly, because I think there's five choices for me, and it depends what kind of mood I'm in. Though the Mechanum are probably the one I've been practicing with, but I've been watching the other ones, and while they're Eridani, they get that great startup capital, which helps them do stuff, but it feels like late in the game that they start to fade a little bit, whereas the Hydrang, or whatever, the blue guys, they, like when they're researching, they're just capitalizing throughout the whole game, and they build up quickly. And then there's the guys that start with the little mega armored ships, and I really like that. That may be my second choice. And then the Draco guys who can just hang out with the ancients, because why not? So many good stuff in that game. Let's see. The last thing we did today, it's Sunday though, was Castle Panic. We pulled that out more so just to show Dan what it was and how it played, and his goal is to learn more of the games that are on that shelf. And so, like, we kept the wizard stuff in there because that honestly that makes it a better game to me. I think it saves some of it. The original is kind of easy and boring, and just it plays itself, whereas the wizard deck helps mitigate a lot of stuff that's in there. And then if you keep that in there, and especially there's a variant where you put the wizard tower in the middle, so if any tower gets attacked twice, it's gone. You lose it. So it's a little bit harder to defend, but you get like an extra wall instead of, yeah, so it balances out a little bit. But there are a lot more monsters, and there's a lot more cool monsters to fight, and I really like what it does to the game because it's a game I don't really enjoy itself, because it is a machine. You could randomly pull those tiles ahead of time and just stack them up, and then that gives you a predetermined order. The monster's going to come out in a certain order, and you got to beat the machine. And if you don't pick right, then you lose. And you could lose 10 turns before the game ends, and that's the sort of thing that's frustrating, especially like you can look at games like Power Grid and whatnot. I lost that game probably about halfway through, and then I waited around to find out. So now that I know how to play, maybe I can avoid that, because you can do the same thing in Eclipse if I'm not wrong. And I can see that happening in Super Dungeon Explorer, but it's a little bit easier to tell in that one because everything's on the board. It's like, well, look, it's the third turn, this many monsters on the board, this many spawning points are left, this is where the token's at to get to the boss. Unless you just kill a bunch of stuff and let the boss come out and fight him direct before he can act on you a bunch, then you're probably going to lose. So, I mean, there's just different ways to do it. But that's my board gaming for the week. It doesn't feel like enough different games. It feels like a lot of effort put into a few games that maybe didn't need to, but I've got more Among the Stars stuff coming out. I got a couple unboxing videos I need to finish editing and put out. Hopefully, I'll be able to catch up on editing this week. I'm a little behind, mostly I think because I spent Saturday and a good bit honestly, Friday night trying to get my Roxio capture device to work properly with my PS3. PS3, what a it's a decent piece of hardware. It's got processing power, all that, but just a nightmare trying to get it sorted out as far as cables and settings and everything go, and trying to get my mic to work with the computer and the capture device. But I finally did it, and that's why you go over on this channel and see the or my Twitch channel. I got to Twitch the Unfinished Swan. So happy I got to play that again. A lot shorter than I thought it was, honestly. And maybe it's because I played it before, and maybe it's because I already gotten a bunch of the balloons, even though I did spend more time than I needed to try to get a couple. And I went back and 100% of the balloons. Sniper rifle's amazing. But the Unfinished Swan is a video game where you're in first-person view, and there's a story being told to you about this kid's magical journey through a little door. You can imagine Narnia. But when he goes through the door, it's all white, like a canvas. And you can throw paint to reveal 3D objects. So you throw paint and you reveal a pathway. You follow the way to go. Because it is a fairly linear game with your non-linear elements taking you off to secret places. But then you have to come back to the track and you proceed through the storyline. So in that respect, it is very linear. So you go through there and you do paint. In every level, like, new things come in. Like the second area, like the king has started to paint shadows, and then the third area, like, there's water. Then there's like these little paddle things, and then there's vines that you can grow, and then you go into darkness instead of whiteness, and so you've got to deal with light mechanics. And then there's a virtual designing side quest thing that you have to use to progress the main storyline, so that you can create stairs where you need them. And it's a super interesting game. It's got some great concepts. I don't think you're ever going to see anything else like it because it already did all those things. And I think if you did another one, it would just be like, oh, is this more Unfinished Swan? So you'd have to call it Unfinished Swan 2, and I think it would restrict it from having a unique enough storyline to warrant doing a game as small a game as the Unfinished Swan is, because again, about 2 hours. I think I have like 1 hour 6-minute stream, and I've got a 59-minute stream, I think, of trying to do it because I took a break in the middle. But that was super interesting to see that, and I think most of the rest of them, until I can get a PSN network to recognize me, and I can get Journey, and I'll do Journey eventually. I think I'm going to stream from my computer mostly. Eventually I will go back and probably do some 360 stuff, or maybe PS2. You know what? I would actually like to go back and play Soul Nomad again. I missed that game. It was funny too. And Final Fantasy Tactics. Like, I look at games today, and like, as much as I enjoy XCOM, weird cat, and a lot of games, and like I bought a couple more Steam games at like really good prices. And Dragon Age Inquisition. I want to go back and replay all Dragon Age again. I need to play Dragon Age 2 because I really like Origins and Awakening. I watched my friend play 2, and I did not like what I was seeing, so I was like, I'll wait. So maybe I'll just go back and play 2 and play Inquisition, and that'll make Inquisition look even better. But I don't have a stream for Origins or Awakening, but we'll see, and maybe that's the way I'll do it, and I'll enjoy it the most, because I think once I start playing Dragon Age again, that's all I'm going to be thinking about. It's like, when does my next Dragon Age play? When? So that's pretty much what I've been playing. So till next time, I'm Kamurai, and that's game over.